Good morning.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. And as you sign on, feel free to say good morning where you are and how the morning is. Morning, Kat. Morning, Dinah.
Good morning, Basti and Dinah. Yeah, I'm from a different place this morning, but I've still logged in so we can still get our session done. So excuse the living room situation, but hopefully we'll still have a good time.
Brilliant. Oh, morning, everyone. We've got Dinah on support as usual. Fantastic. And as we have done for the last couple of weekends, I'm going to start with a reading from the Tao Te Ching. I'll show you again, in case you're wanting to know. This is the book called the Tao Te Ching, great writing on from Taoism from ancient China. And this particular copy is translated by someone called Jia Fu Feng, with pictures by Jane English, if you're wanting to look for it. But there are a lot of translations, and I encourage anyone who's interested to get a copy. They are very beautiful. So we shall start with a reading, which I have done for the last two sessions, and we'll go from there. Do you think you can take over the universe and improve it? I do not believe it can be done. The universe is sacred, and you cannot improve it. If you try to change it, you will ruin it. If you try to hold it, you'll lose it. So, sometimes things are ahead, and sometimes they're behind. Sometimes breathing is hard, and sometimes it comes easy. Sometimes there is strength, and sometimes there is weakness. Sometimes one is up, and sometimes one is down. Therefore, the sage avoids extremes, excesses, and complacency. And I just wanted to kind of say a couple of things on that and why I've chosen this particular one for these three sessions that Kat and I have been doing. And it's partly because so much is happening in the world in general, as the fact that this is a modern world and there's a lot of things that happen nowadays. And on top of that, there's a lot of things going on, as we know, changing in the world today. And we have a tendency sometimes to think, I've got to get something, I've got to make it better. This sort of notion we're brought up with just do your best, just try your best. And you don't have to try your best. In fact, it might be nice to quite often not think about trying your best. In fact, in China, they have a saying, which is 70% is enough. Doing your best is putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It's okay to just do some. There's also this sense of when you really try and control something, sometimes it almost knocks it off balance. So a bit of following as well as managing. And then where it's saying, you know, sometimes things come hard, sometimes things come easy, that's part of that following thing of just recognizing how you are in yourself and kind of following that. And we're going to do a bit of that today. I won't go on, otherwise I'll talk the whole session. But before we get going, I'll just put a quick poll up to see how we are all doing this morning. So I'd love to know, how are you feeling this morning? So there's a poll. Are you in yourself feeling quite stressed, or maybe feeling a bit slow this morning? Are you feeling all right, or are you feeling great? We'd love to know. Fantastic. So we're getting numbers in, and most people are feeling all right so far. There's a few people feeling slow. We've got someone feeling great out there and someone feeling stressed. So fantastic. We know a bit of something we can work with here. Excellent stuff. Well, with that, thank you very much. I'm going to take my camera and microphone off.
Yeah.
And let you carry on.
Thank you, Basti. So, I'll see you in a bit. So if you'd all like to come to standing, I'm going to just come back a little bit so you can kind of see the whole of me, and hopefully you can hear me clearly as well. So we're just going to start by standing in a really nice, easy parallel. Shoulder or hip width apart really doesn't matter, but whatever feels comfortable in your body this morning. Perhaps you want to stay sitting if it's too much to come to standing. We want to make sure the feet are nicely spread in the ground and the toes can really relax on this wonderful earth that we have. We're going to rub our hands together to create some chi, some energy. Kind of like energetically washing our hands, the back of the hands, and in between the fingers, not forgetting our thumbs. We want to energize these as well. Lovely. And with this, we're going to use our hands to brush and wake up gently our bodies. So we're going to start from the head, and you can do the face as well. So over the forehead, it's kind of like firm brushing across the skin and down the shoulders, down the arms. You can do the back of the arms, inside, all the way to the hands, and the other side as well. If you're feeling that brushing isn't quite enough this morning, please feel free to add some dough in. So making sure that the wrists are loose and the fingers are loose as well. And you can do fingertips. So fingertips or very loose fists. So see how you feel. You might need a little bit more wakening up, but we're going to stick to brushing if that's what you're happy with. Down the arms and then brushing top of the chest. Let any breath just come out. You can yawn and sigh. The back of the shoulders, if you can reach that part. And then moving the arms slightly out of the way. So I can tuck my hand onto the opposite shoulder and brushing down the side of the ribs. Waking them up this morning. If we're feeling a little bit slow, kind of like being gentle but energizing to our bodies this morning. And we'll do the same the other side. So back of the shoulder, if that's possible to reach, or even the back of the arm, if it's a bit easier. And then down the side of the ribs, really generous, firm brushes. Great. Waking up and then down the torso, the center part of our body. So from the sternum, our heart center, down into the belly. Lovely. And either side of the ribs to the pelvis. And just noticing where your breath is. Not changing anything, but just noticing. Perhaps you're feeling a bit warmer. So from here, I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see a bit. I'm going to keep my feet spread in the ground and allowing the pelvis to drop. So we're really giving into gravity. You don't have to hold yourself up. So if you're feeling a bit slow and you feel, oh, it's too much to pick myself up today, it's absolutely not necessary to push anything. We can just allow our bodies to be with gravity. So brushing the pelvis and the sacrum. And we're going to go down the legs, so one at a time, and go as far as is comfortable. If you can't get to the feet, really don't worry at all. If you have a lovely person at home that can do the legs for you, go and get them now, and you can have your legs done as well. So just firm brushes. We're going to go down the front part of the leg first. That's great. Softening the knees and making sure the head and neck are released all the way to the feet. Lovely. And then just drawing that energy up the inside of the leg with one firm stroke. And then we're going to do again, all the way down the front of the body, front of the leg, into the foot. Make sure the feet are spread in the ground, head and neck are relaxed, and then one firm brush all the way up, giving us energy from the ground. Now this time we're going to go down the back of the legs. So I'm going to use one hand, I'll turn around so you can see, softening my knees. I don't need to keep my legs long. I want to keep them nice and soft and easy, brushing down the bladder meridian at the back, all the way to the little toe. Lovely, and the same again, drawing up the front there. Let's do once more on this leg, down the bladder meridian, softening the knees and spreading the feet in the ground. And then drawing up the front there. So let's swap legs. Oh, I feel much better. This one feels a lot more open and supported. This poor right leg of mine feels a bit, not quite awake and a bit contracted. So I'm gonna even myself out, and I hope it's working for you as well. So we're gonna brush down the front of the leg, generous brushes, nice and firm but gentle, all the way into the foot. And then the inside of the foot is one smooth stroke all the way up to the front of the pelvis, and then down again. Brushing off what you don't need, making sure the head and neck are still released, and then drawing up with one long stroke and brush there. So let's move to the back of the leg. We're going to go down the back, softening the legs, the knees, spreading the feet towards the little toe, or imagining going to the little toe, and then drawing up the front again. Let's do that once more, softening the knees, spreading the feet in the ground, brushing the back, lovely. And then to the little toe and drawing up. Great, I'll turn back round again. And then just bringing the hands to the hara, the belly. Just going to do gentle circles. We're doing it in the direction of, so from the right hip up to the right ribs, across to the left ribs, and down to the left hip. So this is the way our digestive system runs. So it's very calming and energizing, spiraling in circles movement to do. So we're going to start fairly large on the circle, and we're gently going to make a spiral, sending this energy and chi that we have in our hands through the hara, our belly area, all the way to the back of the body. So we're not just rubbing the surface of the belly, we're sending this wonderful energy all the way through to help energize and support the whole body, all the way through to the back, into the spine. So spiraling the hands slowly, slowly, all the way to our dantian. So that's a point just below the navel and before the pubic bone. Great, so that's our wonderful, strong center that we have. Lovely. And slowly making that circle spiraling motion smaller and smaller until the movement in your hands feels like it's stopped, but energetically it's still going all the way through to the spine at the back. And then just noticing where your breath is, not necessarily changing anything, just tuning in, and wherever it's at is completely fine. So from here, just going to release the hands. We're going to move like we have the previous 2 weeks with Basti and I. We're going to start from the feet, spiraling up to the head. We're going to do it a little quicker this week, so we can spend a little bit more time with a visualization. So if you come to a really nice, easy parallel and shift your weight onto one foot. And we want to make sure this leg's nice and strong and supported, like that long brush stroke upwards. And that is earth energy coming up to meet us, to support us. And with the other foot, we're going to do circles with the ball of the foot, opening all underneath the sole of the foot where the toes join into the center, or just behind the ball of the foot where we have our wonderful kidney 1 point, bobbling spring. It's a gorgeous name. And changing direction. And they don't have to be huge circles, they can be small. So always tuning into what feels right for you this morning. And into that ankle, great. And then from here, we're just going to gently tuck the toes under, wherever that's comfortable for you with the leg. Have a little play around. If it's too much on the toes, just gently lift the heel. We're just opening space in the front of the ankle. Lovely. And then stepping back into a little lunge, doesn't have to be huge. Opening the back of the leg from the little toe all the way up into the back of the pelvis. Great. And then once more, gently tucking the toes under, or lifting up the heel to open the front of the ankle. And again, stepping back into a lunge, opening the back of the body up, all the way, perhaps you can feel it all the way to the back of the skull, to the eyebrows at the front of the face. Lovely. And shaking that out. And we're going to shift our weight. Same thing, lifting with that wonderful earth energy supporting us. So we can do circles with the other foot. Perhaps this one feels a bit easier this morning. I think for me, my left foot feels a lot smoother. My poor right foot needed a bit more work this morning. So noticing what you need. Perhaps it's smaller circles, or perhaps you really want to get into a point. Stay in one area nearer the toes or the ball of the foot where we have our kidney 1. Great. And change direction if you haven't already. Great. And then again, shifting to gently tuck the toes under. So wherever that is for you, lifting the heel gently off the floor. And then stepping back into a lunge, just gently opening the back of the leg from the little toe up to the pelvis, perhaps through the spine and to the eyebrows at the front, where kidney and bladder channel run. And again, just gently tucking the toes under, allowing the weight to just drop. Don't have to force anything at all. It's just happening effortlessly. And if it isn't happening and it feels it's too much of a push, that's completely fine. Just going with the flow and what you can do this morning. Lovely. So as you're in the lunge, allowing everything to open up to the back and shaking that out. Great. So we're just going to come to a narrower standing position. So you don't have to have the feet touching. A closer parallel is lovely. We're going to soften the knees, and if possible, holding the kneecaps at the front and allowing the shoulders to still be easy and loose and the neck to be free. So I'll turn sideways so you can see. So we want to make sure that this doesn't close off here. We want to keep the front of the chest open and the neck, particularly for letting the breath in the lung meridian here in the chest. So we're circling the kneecaps. So it's like these spirals and circling movements are sending synovial fluid to our joints. So it's our body's natural WD-40. So we're oiling the knees, the ankles, the pelvis, and it's gently resonating all the way through the spine to the head. So making these circles small or big, depending whatever you feel like this morning. And if this is too much to come to the knees, I forgot to mention at the start, Just softening the knees and keep the hands on the pelvis and do more subtle movements with the kneecaps, drawing circles with the knees. Lovely. So if you haven't changed direction, please do so. Great. And then from here, we're going to soften the knees and arm curl so the head's the last to come up. And then step out into a wider stance. So placing your feet on the ground wherever's comfortable, not necessarily straight in front. They can be slightly out if that's easier for you. And playing with circling with the pelvis, if that's small circles or larger ones. And last week, if you were here, I mentioned about keeping the legs long. I always find that this movement then works a lot deeper in the pelvis. So you can play around with this, or if you wish to, softening the knees, allowing the pelvis to drop down with gravity to the earth, and doing kind of more muscular, a kind of physical feeling with moving the pelvis. So play around with what feels good for you today. And just noticing where your breath is. Great. And change direction if you haven't already. Keeping the feet nice and spread in the ground. And the kneecaps are soft so we don't hold any tension within the knee joint. And even with long legs circling, the pelvis can just gently drop towards the ground with gravity. Lovely. And gently spiraling this movement in. So it slowly comes to center and the tailbone can just hang towards the ground. Lovely. And then we're going to step back into a more neutral parallel, however that is for you today. And we're just going to go from the shoulders. So I'll turn sideways so you can see. So I'm first dropping chin to chest, curling the shoulders forward, softening the knees, and then the shoulders are going to drop forwards and draw up towards the ears. And they continue to draw us to come back up to standing. And the shoulders are up, kind of round my ears, and then allowing the breath out, and the shoulder blades can gently melt down the ribs at the back. So play around with what feels comfortable for you. It can be very small and minute movement, doesn't have to be huge. We're waking up the ribs, the spine, the shoulders. We're also working the knees and the pelvis. So all these lovely joints that are being oiled from the feet down, feet up, working upwards. Or you can do a lot larger movement. See what feels right for you today. And you can tie it in with the breath as well. So breathing in, drawing the shoulders up, and breathing out, allowing the shoulder blades to melt down. Breathing in, chin to chest. Breathing in here. Breathing out as you get to the bottom. And then breathing in, drawing the shoulders up. Breathing out, letting them go. We'll do that a couple more times. So breathing in here, and then breathing out as you get to nearer the bottom, allowing the head and neck to still be released. Feet are spread. Breathing in again. Shoulders draw us up, and breathing out, allowing everything to just gently drop. Let's do that once more. So breathing in, chin tucks to chest. Doesn't matter the size or the shape of your movement, whatever feels right for you. Breathing in and breathing out. Lovely. And from here, we're just going to gently take the head from side to side, gently looking, allowing the vertebrae that goes all the way up into the skull to ear level inside your head, the vertebrae that meets the skull and pivots on the top there. So we don't want to overstrain anything, even if you're just looking in front from one side to the other like this. Just gently oiling the neck and the throat and into the shoulder girdle here. Great. And then coming to center, allowing that movement to settle. And just again, noticing where your breath is. Not necessarily changing it, but perhaps you've noticed it feels different to when we first started moving around. Or perhaps it hasn't changed at all. So from here, wherever you're at, if you feel like sitting, please come to sitting. If you'd really like to lie down, and if it's a bit cool and you want to stay warm, grab a blanket. And we're going to stay lying with eyes closed if you feel like it. And I'm going to go through a visualization. You can just allow these words to waft over you, or perhaps you notice some movement you wish to work with these words and poetic imagery. It's completely up to you. But it's a time where we're just going to focus a little more what's going on inside. So get comfortable. I'll stay sitting, but please feel free to lie down and get really comfortable. And we're just going to focus a little bit more on the upper burner. So we're allowing this wonderful true key, the breath and air, to come in and give us wonderful energy, and allowing the heart energy to just settle and enjoy what's going on. So just like in the Tao Te Ching, not trying to do anything, not trying to change anything, just allowing what's there. And this is again from a book called A Widening Field. I used it 2 weeks ago, but I'll write it up again in the chat so you can have a look at the book I'm reading from. This one's called The Present Heart. Be still, breathe. Take time to let your body settle. Open the length of your spine, opening the windows of your skin, widening, lengthening. And let your attention soften and spread out into the present moment of where you are. Opening your body and to what is around you. Let go of wanting to do or change anything. Let go of concerns and about what is important. Be empty. Rest in darkness as a plant in winter, quiet, stilled, except going nowhere. Gently receive the moment arriving into you in each breath, trusting whatever is coming and going, letting your attention float. Many things need darkness to grow. Breathe into the heart and listen. Breathe out from the heart and expand. Listen as sensations or images rise and fall away through the body. Let your face soften. The weight of your brain, skin, organ, bones spread out and rest on the beat and tides of your heart. Listen and feel how the whole body receives, reflects the heart's pulse. Sense the delicate small circulation between your heart and lungs. Sense the color, vitality, generosity of the blood's great circulation, streaming out from the heart to the furthest edges of your body, nourishing, sustaining, and carrying away what is not needed. And the slow returning movement back to the heart, gently receiving inwards. Let the beat of your heart fill through your body, and let the body listen, turning towards the heart as the earth turns towards the sun. So just letting those words waft over you, or if you felt an impulse to move or wiggle around, that's completely wonderful. And just letting those things gently ebb away. So if you have your eyes closed, we're just going to gently open them, perhaps wiggling the fingers and toes to come back into a more physical presence. So we're not completely drawn inwards, just coming to the surfaces again. And if you're lying or sitting, if you're lying down, just gently come to a sitting position. And if you're sitting already, you don't need to go anywhere. So getting comfortable again, taking time, there's no rush. Just going to rearrange this camera here. Okay. So yeah, being comfortable, and if you need to move at any point, you don't need to stay sitting completely all of the time. We're just going to focus a little bit more on our hands, and I'll go through a couple of points on the hands for us. And if you're comfortable too, we're going to also touch our face as well. So we're drawing on a little more the upper burner, drawing in on the breath and seeing where the heart is and what's going on there today. So again, just gently rubbing the hands together, creating some chi or ki. Great. And then we're just going to, I'll come this way actually, going to press, generously squeezing our hands. So you can also do this, I'm holding my hand up, you can also do this allowing the hand to rest on your leg, wherever's comfortable. I'll hold mine up so you can see what's going on. But really just being easy with it, hardly any effort at all. So we're just generously squeezing our hands and wrists. Maybe there's a part that you go, whoa, that area feels really good to press. Feel free to stay there and give it some attention. Perhaps there's an area that you don't want to press too much, so you can leave it. Great. And we're just going to come to, if you just gently cup your hand. I think we've done this in the first week with Basti. Gently cupping your hand, and between the middle finger and the ring finger, there's a point pretty much in the center of the palm here. This one's on our heart protector meridian, and it's got a wonderful name. It's called the Palace of Calm, and we can gently press this. So again, you can do this relaxing the arm downwards, and it's really great for allowing any busy mind thoughts. It helps the breath to settle and the chest to open. It's just a wonderful point. You can also do this, you know, in the supermarket if you're shopping and you're feeling a bit stressed out. You can give this one a very nice squeeze without really anybody knowing. And then we're going to gently go down to the middle finger. And then from the wrist, we're going to go little finger side. We're going to go gently pressing down the heart meridian all the way to the little finger on the inside. This one we do a bit more gently. We want to be kind to the heart meridian. And then I'm going to turn my hand over. So the kind of U shape here between the thumb and finger, index finger, there's a dip on the index finger part of the bone, further up on the metacarpals. Here, near the thumb, hope you can see it's quite bright in this room. So I'm gently pressing inwards through the hand. This one's on the large intestine meridian on the hands. And it's really good for allowing any pain in the body to leave. I always use this one if I have a headache. If you perhaps are pregnant, I would definitely suggest to stay away from this point, not to use it. So only if you think you're not pregnant, you can definitely press this point here. And it's just great for letting go anything emotional that you want to not hold on to, or any pain in the body. It's just great for letting go. And then squeezing all the way down the index finger. You can also do the thumb as well, giving a generous squeeze all the way to the tip. Lovely. And then we'll do the same on the other hand. So we're going to press in all the way around the hand that we've not worked, generously squeezing it. So it's gentle but firm. Hardly any effort at all. That lovely 70% that Basti talked about at the beginning. And then we're going to come to the cup part in the hand between the middle finger and ring finger. So roughly here. So that's the heart protector point, number 8. The Palace of Calm. Really wonderful. Calming. Oh, I can feel my chest actually opening, kind of radiating outwards. Just allowing the breath to come in. And then working along the middle finger. Well, the sun's come out and I look quite overexposed. I'll just draw the curtain a little. There we are. Working all the way down the middle finger. And then from here, we're just going to go from the wrist, gently, gently with this one on the heart meridian. Oh, thank you, Dinah. That's great. For the large intestine 4. All the way down, okay, to the little finger. This is the heart meridian. Being really gentle with it, loving to ourselves. And then turning the hand over, and we're going to do the large intestine. So between the index finger and the thumb, there's a point along this part, the index finger, there's a dip. And we want to press inwards, in towards the hand, gently pressing. That's it. Allowing the great eliminator, allowing to eliminate anything that we don't need. And then all the way down the index finger. And we can also do our thumb, where our lung meridian comes all the way down from the chest here, all the way down the arm to the thumb, and releasing that. Great. And then from here, we're just going to gently come to our face. Pressing into the forehead, so you can cover the eyes if you'd like. Perhaps if you're working from home, there's a lot of screen time, so giving your eyes some wonderful nourishing chi that we've worked into the hands, sending it into the eyes so they can really rest. Pressing round down the side of the face, into the jaw. Great. And then onto the cheeks here, and underneath the cheekbones. And we'll come to the ears and give them a little squeeze as well. So I'm using thumb on the back of the ear and fingers on the front, gently squeezing down, lovely. And then from here, I've got my thumbs underneath the jaw and fingers on the top, just gently gonna press into the jaw here until the thumbs meet underneath. This point's a really nice point on the heart channel as well. So if it feels a bit tender, go gently and back out again. That's great. And perhaps you want to massage your jaw and cheek area. Unless you're like me and talk a lot, this one gets used quite a bit. So allowing this to really relax. And we're just going to do one more point and then I'll hand over to Basti. So coming either side of the nose. So this is the start of the large intestine channel. No, the end, sorry. How terrible of me. Number 20. And we want to point the fingers inwards as though we're pressing through the face. This one's great for allowing sinuses to open. It's great for hay fever. If you're feeling a bit snuffly, this one's really good for opening all the faces in all the places in the face. Great. And then coming again, just gently pressing into the face. Lovely. And just letting that go. And I'm going to pass back over to Basti. So I hope you're feeling a little more awake and open in the face and hands.
Thank you so much, Kat. That was lovely.
You're welcome.
I really enjoyed that face massage. Thanks.
You're very welcome. I'm feeling a bit more awake this morning.
And I really noticed what you were saying about the turning the hips. When you drop down a bit, how much more you feel the kind of the physicality of the outside muscles.
Yes, yeah.
When you stand up straight, it's more in the joints and the tendons and ligaments and things.
Exactly. And it's nice to play around with how you can move differently and it gets into different parts of your body and you can get exactly what you need.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I'll disappear for a moment so you can take the screen.
Sure thing. Thank you very much, Kat. Absolutely lovely. I'm sure you'll all agree. And now I'm going to get us to stand up and we're going to do a bit more movement to try and get a bit more ki, a bit more energy moving around the body. So I'm going to stand back here so you can see me. So find a bit of room standing up again. And I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. But you've got your feet about hip to shoulder width apart and facing forwards again, just like before with Kat. And I'd like you to have a sense of heaven's connection. So connection from above. If you imagine it being like a thread holding up the top of your head. And just allowing your spine to hang down like a string of pearls is the image. Just the body just relaxes down, and you've got your legs a little bit bent, and then flat on the ground, feeling the ground underneath you. Okay, so this is our starting point. Now I'd like you to just kind of do a gentle bounce on the ground. Not putting loads of effort in, you just kind of almost feel a bit of a rhythm of a bounce. This is where we're going to start from. And then let the arms just start swinging with the bounce. Boom, 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 boom. So the bounce is making the arms go backwards and forwards. And we're going to let the rhythm of the bounce generate any movement. And the only effort that we're going to put in is just try and pick up the arms a little bit so that they don't go any higher than shoulder height in front of us, We're not making them go up there, they're just going to shoulder height, no more. In fact, a little bit less is even better. And then just a little bit of extra effort to sort of encourage them to go behind you. Opening it, opening it, opening it. And your breath is just however your breath is. Don't need to focus on it anymore, just let it happen. Let the body be, we're not doing this, we're trying to have that sense of being up and down, almost like the heavens connection is a bungee cord, boing, 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 boing. The arms are just swinging with the bounce, bounce and make them swing. We're not coming higher than shoulder height in front, but just allowing our arms to swing up behind, and this opens out the shoulders. Now, if this is too much for you, let it be lower, but use the bounce. That's the main part. Use the bounce to encourage the movement of the arms. And just go to where is okay for you. That's what you need to notice. And you're just bouncing up and down. And then we can add to this a little bit. As the shoulders and the chest start to open a bit more, and we encourage more air and therefore more energy in, you can hold your thumbs up and stick your index fingers out. So, like this. There we go. Okay. And so, this encourages two channels to open up that little bit more. And the two channels are the lung and the large intestine, who are sort of partners with each other. And they help to open out for an exchange of fresh chi or ki from the air, fresh energy from the air and from around us, from the outside to the inside and then back out again. And no finer way does it do this than through the breath and through the skin. And so this is helping all of this. And this brings fresh energy and vitality in. So we're just getting a nice opening of the arms, bouncing up and down. Whilst you're doing this, just remember that sense of the heavens, or the above, the cosmos, however you want to see it, the air, space, and that sort of connection that connects up. And then through the body, you have your center, all the way down to the ground, and you feel that solidity of the ground. So you've really got a good feeling of above and below, and you're in the middle, bouncing up and down, drawing in fresh air. Okay, we're almost finished. We'll just let the... You can play with this as well. So you can do this where you've got your hands turned this way, around where the thumbs are pointing downwards. You can turn in, turn right out, so the thumbs are turning right out. And you can also do it so that they're going straight back behind you and trying to touch your hands behind you, or just going outwards behind you. Play around with it if you want to in your own time. Okay, but for now, let the bouncing stop. Let the arms just start to come to a natural close. Maybe just step out a bit so that the legs get a little bit of movement. Shake it out a little bit. Yes. How are you feeling now? It's certainly moving a bit more energy around in my upper body and down to the lower part of my body. So just give the legs a bit of a wobble, like you're wobbling them backwards and forwards. And if your knee joints allow, then wobbling them sort of in and out, side to side, or just give them a bit of a shake and a bit of a bounce in the whole body. And then we'll just do a few nice big breaths, like you would a yawn in the morning. So breathe in, stretch up, and just like a sigh and a let go. Just letting the arms flop around behind you. Now, if the shoulders are a bit much doing this movement, Just go to where is okay for you, so that you just feel a bit of an opening and you take in a nice full breath. So we'll do another one, breathing in. Now, I'm sure you're all opening up the upper body with this. So this time when you breathe in, try and feel the breath really dropping down deeper into the belly and the hips. See how it goes. So filling up the belly and hips, you ready? See how that is? And if that was okay with you, you can do another one like that. And if you didn't really get into it, we're going to try something completely different. Try imagining that you're breathing in through from the feet. Okay, so we're just going to take one breath. Imagine the breath, the air is drawing up through the feet. We're still going to do the arms. So are you ready to breathe in? Breathing in through the feet. Maybe that worked for you, maybe it didn't. Okay, bit of energy moving. Check on time. Okay, we've got a few minutes. So there's something I'd love to do with you. And that's, I'm going to do a poll in a minute to check with where you would like to focus your attention on. And then we're going to do a little bit of stretching, moving, whatever's right for you to sort of contact that. But first of all, I'd like you to do a bit of a self-scan, which we haven't done so much of first thing this session. I was saving it up for now so that we can get a bit more of a sense of whether we're going to be focusing on something more physical or focusing on something that's a bit more non-physical, emotional, mental, something like that. So whether you're standing or sitting, just take a moment to relax for a bit. And like Kat was saying earlier, and you may want to let your eyes close a bit, you bring your attention inside, and you can do that with the breath. So let the breath breathe in, let your attention come in, and relax with the out breath. We've got the connection and that idea of the above, that openness, that space around us and above us, and all the way through us, especially in our center. Breath still coming in, relaxing as we breathe out. We've got the ground underneath us, whether that is a seat, the floor, the very grass and earth outside, just feeling the solidity of the ground beneath us. And allow that to just be recognized up through the body. Attention coming in deeper with the breath. And just noticing our center. So with this sense of your center between above and below, and with the quality of both, just notice, and you can do a scan down, or you can just do a sort of a general picture of yourself, how you're feeling right now. And do you feel any blocks anywhere, or any weaknesses, anything that's an unwanted or imbalanced notion? Maybe there's a couple. If you start finding that there are lots, then just focus on one to start with. And bring your attention to this area, this quality. So for me, I'm noticing my lower part of my rib cage and diaphragm. So that's where my attention's going to. But yours may well be somewhere else. And just ask yourself, what's this like physically? The physical quality of the body? Get a sense of that. And then let that go a little bit, let it sort of soften and dissolve a little bit, but then bring your attention, which is still inside, into more of a feeling of what's it like for you. Is there an emotional quality? Is there a way that you're looking at it in your mind in a particular way? And so is that more of a non-physical quality? And what's that like for you? This one area, just get a sense of that. Maybe it shifts, maybe it changes, maybe it's still the same thing. That's up to you to be able to see and hear and find. We'll give it a go. Okay, bringing your attention back out. I'm going to get you to just stand up if you've been sitting. I know we've only got a few minutes left, but I was going to do a poll. I'll leave it because of time, but I'd like you to have an idea of whether that it is more physical that you're focusing on, whether it's more emotional or mental, non-physical, or a little bit of both, or you're just not really sure, because any of those things are fine. But wherever the area was that you had your attention on, we're going to come back to that now. And I'd like you to listen to it, but not dropping in deep, but being open, as we were a minute ago with our exercises. And just notice, for me, I'm holding here. This is where my area was. For you, it may be somewhere else. What sort of does it need? So we've asked, what is it like? Now more of what does it need? And we're going to take a movement or a stretch. Now it can be a stretch you already know, or you could just be moving whatever movement is needed for you. And don't worry, because probably no one's watching. And even if they are, it's fine anyway. You're doing something worthwhile. So for me, it kind of feels like it needs to turn a little bit. I'm going to carry that into this movement that we all know. And just give yourself 2 minutes of listening and following the area, noticing whether it is more physical or more emotional, mental, that we were doing a minute ago, and following what it needs with a movement. That's actually a bit much for me. There is a little bit of an emotional quality to it, so I'm just going to calm that down a touch. So for me, this is what's needed. A bit of calming that down, not being so strong with it physically. And so this is the thing, we're following, we're listening. You know, sometimes it's more physical, sometimes it needs stronger movement, sometimes it's more emotional, maybe it needs something a bit softer. Whatever seems right for you. Just exploring, following, going with it, but also allowing it to find a sense of balance. I feel like I need to stretch out a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the stretch. So we'll just have another minute, last minute, just following this. Whatever movement or stretch or breath work you may be needing, but whether it's more physical or emotional, listening to that part that you found. Maybe it's moved on and you've had to move to another part. Okay, and let whatever movement you're doing come to a bit of a close now. Sorry to close you down, but after this session, you can always carry on in your own time. And I'm just going to do a quick poll to ask, because we do like to try and use polls here. We like to hear how you're doing. That's the main thing. The poll is, how do you feel now? It's that same one we've used many times. Are you feeling more balanced, about the same, or less balanced? And any of those things are okay, because maybe that's just how it is right now. We need to go with it. But it's looking like pretty much most of you are more balanced. This is wonderful, wonderful. Oh, hello again, Kat.
Hello. Oh,
Well, that was
wonderful. Thank you very much, Basti.
all good. Hello, Dinah, as well.
Just came in to say fabulous. Thank you so much. I feel loads better.
Great.
Brilliant.
Not too busy on the chat, so I was able to join in. It was fab.
Yay.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Basti, I really enjoyed letting any kind of movement that you kind of like following what's going on for you. It's lovely.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yes.
So much fun.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock.
It's
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
I think next week,
oh yeah.
Cliff will be back.
Yes.
And we shall hear, no doubt, how he's been in his time off, but also what he'll be bringing to us all in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's some new and exciting things that we'll bring soon in the autumn if you stick with us on the Wednesday class. So yeah, hopefully you come. But if you feel you can and you'd like to still support us, then we have a small donation button on the website, and we thank you for contributing already. But we love you coming anyway. So hopefully we see you next week.
Excellent stuff. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.